Hello, thank you so much for joining me for another Women Crush Wednesday. Today we're going to talk about Julia Chase Brand, a barrier-breaking female long-distance runner. Fact number 1. Julia was born in 1942 in Groton, Connecticut, and grew up being in awe of John J. Kelly, who was an Olympic runner and who also won the Boston Marathon in 1957, who just so happened to live in her neighborhood. Julia grew up running along the hills and the ponds of her grandmother's 8-acre farm and would often play hockey and baseball with her 4 brothers. She also loved to canoe along a salt marsh to school, and whenever she would miss the bus, she would run the 1.5 miles to school. She was known for saying that she was the most happy when she was running. Fact number 2. Julia faced an uphill battle as an athlete. In the 1960s, women were still prohibited from doing any long-distance running, and the Amateur Athletic Union, as well as the Olympics, prohibited women from doing these long-distance races because they thought that it was going to affect their femininity. Some officials even thought that if women ran more than half a mile, their uteruses would fall out. Fact number 3. In 1961, Julia, along with 2 other women, defied the AAU ban and decided to run a 10K. The other 2 women were Chris McKenzie, a British champion who was known for wearing a shirt that said, "If I can carry a baby for 9 months, I can certainly run a 10K," and a high school student, Diane Leschhaus. In order to get around the ban, the women started 1 block behind the men because, of course, they could not be prohibited from running a run on the same route as the men. Now, Chris McKenzie was concerned about a lifetime ban from the AAU, so she ended up veering off 1 block before the finish line, but Diane and Julia continued pushing through the end. Julia ended up finishing at 33 minutes 40 seconds, which was faster than 10 of the men who were running the course, and ended up changing the face of women athletics at that point. At this point, Julia promised the AAU that she would not crash any more races if women were allowed to run alongside the men in these longer races. Unfortunately, Julia's running career was cut short when she was in a car accident just 4 years later, a few years before Title IX was passed, which prohibited sex discrimination in education, which changed women's sports forever. Fact number 4. Even though Julia had to stop running, that didn't stop her from being amazing. She ended up going on to get a degree in zoology, and then a master's, and then a PhD, where she studied a lot of different animals, including bats. She is known for discovering that bats aren't blind, they just have poor eyesight, and for discovering the fact that orangutans stick out their tongue as a form of social aversion, just like humans. Deep into her career as a biologist, she decided to return to school in 1996 at the age of 53 and became the oldest person to obtain a medical degree from the Albert Einstein School of Medicine. Fact number 5. Julia currently works in child psychiatry and is the director for outpatient psychiatry at the Lawrence Memorial Hospital in New London, Connecticut. Julia hasn't lost her passion for running, and in 2011, she returned to the Manchester Road Race, where she competed on the 50th anniversary of her groundbreaking run. Thank you so much for joining me for another Women Crush Wednesday. Today, we learned all about Julia Chase Brand, who had an incredible impact on women's sports and, as well, had an incredible scientific career.